Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Gangadapate Namaha. Om Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Krishnaya Namaha. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 13th of May 2025. I want to offer my prostrations, Anantakoti Namaskar, Danvat Pranam, to all the great sages and to Bhagavan residing in the heart, in the Atma of every single being. With that prarthana and bhavana, we are continuing today to further elaborate on verse number 62, chapter number 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. You know, the verse is Dhyayato Vishayan Punsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Bijayate Krodat Bhavati Sammoha Sammohat Smrti Vibramaha Smrti Branchad Buddhinasho Buddhinashat Pranashyati. These are two verses, 62 and 63. Okay, now, today I want to talk about, in this sequence that Bhagavan Sri Krishna Paramatma has given us, he's talking about what happens from anger. You know, Krodat Bhavati Sammohaha. You can see it on the screen here. If you're using a phone, you can turn the phone in a horizontal way and you should be able to see it pretty well. Either way, it's fine. So, what is Krodh? First of all, this is a Sanskrit word. We translate that as anger, no doubt. But to really understand what exactly this is, I mean, what exactly is it? What is meant by Krodha? Krodha. What is that? Well, first of all, it's an experience. You know, every human being has that experience. Ye ek jivan ka anubhav hai. We know, this is a word we're using. In English, we say anger. But remember one thing, that the experience has a range from extremely mild to extremely strong. Isn't it so? Sachin can say, I'm a little bit frustrated here and there. Thoda frustration. Very, very tiny. Not much. And then it can increase. And then it builds up. You know how the tension builds up. And then it's boiling from inside eventually. The water doesn't boil just like this. Slowly. And some people are boiling like that. They're just burning up with krodha. It's an experience. First of all, ek anubhav hai. Let's not try to criticize it. Let's try to see it. Observe it. It's not about criticizing krodh. It's about recognizing the 6 dimensions that we talk about in the Angel Wing program: quality, quantity, direction, dimension, depth, and structure. Again, it's an extensive subject, but in brief, to observe is called Sakshi Bhav, observation. Ye kya? Just like a scientist, a researcher is trying to understand some object outside, a plant, a tree, a mountain, whatever, natural object. This is an experience that is given language like anger, frustration, krodha in the Sanskrit language. This word is used, but that is just a word referring to the actual experience. The word is used as a symbol, as a pointer, as a way of describing the experience. So when Bhagavan Sri Krishna is using this word krodha, he's using it so that we can realize and directly see what it is and where it will lead. It is an invitation to directly, in the present moment, observe the opening of this experience, this emotion that we call krodha, which has a range. Krodha is not just one thing. I mean, it's an experience, but it's a wave. But there are stages of that, and you'll be surprised how much research there is in psychology on this, on anger management, frozen anger. Some people are angry with somebody where the individual has something called frozen anger. They just hate the person. And sometimes teenagers have that. I used to have a patient who had that towards his sister. They had to keep them away. He wanted to hurt her every time he just wants to he wants to do something harmful to her. He hated her that much, whatever the reasons were. It's called frozen anger. Think about this. This is the kind of thing that people suffer from. Most people don't have frozen anger, but there are those who do. With these wars going on and all that creates frozen anger. Those are things that we see in the news and all that, but even in the homes and in other places, this is why humanity suffers. These two verses are exactly why humanity suffers. But then what is the solution also? We don't want to just keep analyzing the problem. We need to understand that, no doubt. Krodh hai, Bhagwan kehte hai ki there's, krodhat bhavati sammoha. Okay, understood, no doubt. It is an experience, no doubt. What is creating the experience? Energy. Actually, the experience of Krodha is only possible because of Bhairava. Bhairav Shakti, Bhagwan Shankar ki Bhairav Shakti. Bhairav Swarup hai unka. And Devi Kalika. Unka jo Swarup jo Bhairav and Bhairavi, they are the ontological tattvas that allow for this experience to happen. You understand this point? Nothing happens without the permission of God. Not even Krodh. Nothing. Not Krodh, not Kam, not violence. Nothing can happen unless God gives you the okay to do it. Doesn't mean God is doing that. But He gives the Jivatma the opportunity to experience Maya in all its colors. And then the opportunity to come out of it. You understand? This is a quite intricate thing to understand here. Where does Krodh come from? Krodh comes from the Jivatma's ignorance, Ajnan. But the energy comes from Bhagwan Shankar. Don't forget this. This is why when we do the Rudram, what the entire Rudram Pratna is about, the Rudra Swarupa Bhagwan Shiv, to put down all the arrows. What does that mean? When we have accumulated a lot of negative karma in life, there is a whole reaction that happens because of the negative karma. And that reaction that happens, the results that are given because of that negative karma for the Jivatma are given directly by Rudra. That is why the Rudram is a prayer that you don't give us all of this negative stuff. We are praying to you through sadhana, through bhakti, that you eliminate the negative things that will come to us. It is a prayer to Rudra to put down his arrows. Namaste astu dhanvane bahubhyam utate namaha. Right? This is the Rudram. Amazing mantra hai wo. So understand clearly that just take human being. In human experience, we have Krodha. Do you think that happens without God giving you the okay to do that? Impossible. It cannot happen without the permission of Paramatma. Nothing can happen. In fact, there is no experience of any kind that can happen unless Bhagwan is present. Now the big question will happen, how can that be? How can that be? Because the Jivatma is given the experiences of the Sattva Gun, Rajogun, Tamogun because of its engulfment in Mahamaya. It has to go through those experiences to come out of them, to come out of Maya. Ordinary human being has Kam, Krodh, Lobh, or every human being has this. Why does it have it? Why has God permitted that? So that we can come out of it. That's why Bhagwan Krishna is saying here that the Vishayas exist, the meditation on the Vishayas are there, the contemplation is a sequence, but it cannot exist without the presence of God. It's very difficult to understand these things. Ramakrishna Paramhans used to say, those who are, violent people, killers, murderers, heinous people, he says that I see only Devi Kali in them. Think about this. ये क्या स्थिति है? ये क्या अध्यात्म है? भगवान कृष्ण स्वयं कहते हैं गीता जी में, see me everywhere. He doesn't say see me only in the temples or in the Murli Manohar Swarup. वो तो ठीक है. That is the starting point. That is necessary. That is भगवान ही है. वो तो भगवान का विग्रह है. Is it possible to see Paramatma in everybody? That nothing is even existing without the existence of Parabrahma, of Brahman, of the super consciousness. क्या बात है? This is Adhyatma, ये Vedant है. It's not easy. It's not easy because we don't have that vision. Our mind is filled with the dualities. The capacity to see through the dualities into the tattva itself, it is called seeing God everywhere. Actually seeing. It is a laser drishti, divya drishti. Cuts through the layers of Maya. वो बड़े संत की स्थिति है. But for the Jivatma that is experiencing Krodha, we're talking about that right now, that is because the Jivatma is using God-given energy out of the Ahankar. The source of the Krodha is Ahankar. And that Ahankar is the sense that I am this physical body, this mind, my emotions, my beliefs, my this, my that, me and mine. Hu and in Gujarati we say hu and maru. Hu means me, maru means mine. That where does that ahankar come from? उसका भी बहुत तत्वज्ञान है. अहंकार की उत्पत्ति कहाँ से आती है? Where did it come from? Ahankar, we don't have time to go into that today. We need 4 or 5 hours to discuss it. I would need at least 5 hours to explain where the ahankar comes from. It's too upper level ki baat hai. But in short, in brief, we can say this much. That what we experience as ego is the expression of the beginningless engulfment in Mahamaya. Mahamaya ke jo womb hai, in the womb of Maya, the infinite Jivatma are living, staying inside there. And they're trapped inside Mahamaya. So that ahankar that we experience, the Shushupti Avastha we experience, is that beginningless, unexpressed engulfment in Mahamaya. I know even that concept that's what I'm telling you, this will take 4 or 5 hours to explain this. It's difficult to understand, well, why does ahankar exist? Why does anger exist? Well, you have to understand this. It's tatvik baat hai sab. If you don't understand this tattva gnan, you cannot answer these questions like that. It's not that simple just to say that, God has created everything. You can say, why God created all this foolishness? It's not like that. You have to understand that Jivatma is inside Mahamaya and it is engulfed inside Mahamaya. So when Mahamaya activates herself and creates the universes and the bodies and everything, she creates them, which is Mahashakti. She creates them so you can be released from her clutches and reach the Tattva itself and not be stuck inside the creation. It's like that. The creation is the expression of Mahamaya. But the unexpressed state of Mahamaya, it is where there is no creation. So when there is no creation, there is no experience of any kind. For example, when we are in deep sleep, are we having any experience? No. But where does deep sleep come from? Shushupti avastha. Shushupti avastha. Gunatitanand Swami explained this. And this is, I'm telling you, this is why this is very difficult thing to get into. But anyway, let's a little bit get into that. Shushupti avastha. Gunatitanand Swami explained it. Ke Mahamaya sathe je anadi kalti bandhan che. E Shushupti etle, chato che. This is how he explained. Meaning it is a tiny little anubhav of that original beginningless engulfment in Mahamaya, that is non-experience. So the whole purpose of the creation is to get out of the creation into the abode of God. The purpose of the Utpatti Sarga, it is called. It is not so that we can be stuck inside that, inside the Brahmand. ब्रह्मांड से बाहर निकलने के लिए ब्रह्मांड की उत्पत्ति है. ठीक है, ये तात्विक बात है. Now in that expression, in the creation of the Brahmand, and within the Brahmand, all the Jivatmas, like we see millions and millions of life forms, each Jivatma has aham vritti, from the ant to the Brahmaji. Brahmaji also has aham vritti, but not like our aham vritti. वो ईश्वर कोटि में आ जाते हैं. उनकी aham vritti हमारी जैसी नहीं है. Brahma, it's not some hypothetical mythological being. It's actually a being. It's a Ishvara. उन्होंने सब ये सृष्टि create की है. It's not some hypothetical being. It's not like that. People think that it's क्या mythology, Hindu mythology. It's not like that. So, and we say Brahma is not Brahman. Remember that also. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv are Ishvaras. वो भी एक, again, one of those high level ideas. The point here is that aham vritti goes from the bacteria cell, or let's say the virus particle, if the virus particle is alive, let's say bacteria cell, each bacteria cell, all the way up to Brahmaji. ब्रह्मा जी से तुम आप पर निकल जाते, वहां अहम वृत्ति नहीं है. ब्रह्मा जी also has a life of 100 years. He also goes away, but he's the topmost being in the system, in the 14 lokas. Satyalok, unka 100 years. His 1 second is our 660 years. He opens his eyes one time, 660 years go by. He closes his eyes 660. Massive time periods go by. He's not like where we are. He's at we cannot imagine even that being. Is alokik baat hai ye sab. But even that being goes away. So aham vritti is coming from this sense that I am मैं ये शरीर हूं. It starts there. Even if you take a small ant, you may have seen, sometimes I see outside, you see the tiniest little insects. I said, how small are they? Sometimes, I don't know if they're white ones or red ones, whatever they are so tiny. But the Atma that is in that body is thinking that is the whole and soul. It wants to survive at all costs. Abhi iska kya? They just think about it. What is the point of that life from our point of view? It's nonsense about it. But from that Jivatma's point of view, it wants to survive as if there is no tomorrow. That is the everything. Whether it's a bird or a tree or it's a frog or a squirrel or a human being, it says, I am this body. And itna iske saath it's ekrupta ho, it's like oneness with the experience of the body. That is aham vritti. और इसको वेदरस में और भगवान शंकराचार्य जी कहते हैं अहम जीवम, मैं जीव हूं, मैं सचिन हूं, ये मेरा. And then from that aham vritti, Krodha comes, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Matsar. All of these expressions, like a tree and all the different branches, they come from this original Aham Vritti, beautifully stated in Vachanamrut Garada Pratham 76. अहम वृत्ति हम छोड़ सकते हैं? You know, this, I'll just stop in a few minutes. I'll try to stick to time. I'm sorry about going over every single day. I know you guys are busy also. You know, we started our satsang today. We saw that beautiful video of that Abhishekam, beautiful Abhishekam done of Shri Radhika ji and Shri Krishna Bhagwan. Why do that? वो क्या है? What is the purpose of that? It is to activate love and surrender. प्रेम भगवान के साथ प्रेम एक्टिवेट करने के लिए है. Different acharyas have shown different ways of connecting with that Paramatma. Different traditions have different ways. The goal is the same. It is love. And when love comes about, which is bhakti, sneho bhaktischa madhave, Shikshapatri. When bhakti comes about, the ahankar dissolves. And actually, the energy that is being funneled and sucked up and damaged by the ahankar is now fully available, blossomed beautifully like a beautiful fresh flower. And that is bhakti. And that is why when we offer flowers at the feet of God, like in Hindu temples, we don't offer crumpled flowers. We offer fresh blossom flowers. Why is that? Because our heart can be of that type. That it is blossomed, it's blossoming with love. And when the blossoming of love is there, prem, the entire system from the inside transmutes. And काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, इसका नाश हो जाता है. So that buddhi nashat, that buddhi becomes, the opposite happens. The exact opposite happens back into that extraordinary free state, mukta state. Every single ritual that has been constructed in the Sanatana Dharma has phenomenal meaning behind it. Because people need rituals. They need something to do. You cannot say, if I say, oh, Bhagwan to sab jagah hai, let me just sit in, okay. Well, if I'm already like Shankaracharya ji and all, wo to theek hai. For that, even they have done so many rituals. Rituals are necessary. They are a doorway for love, for opening love. Okay, let's stop here for now. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurumedeva Sarvakareshi Sarvadam Ganganapate Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostate Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita Namastase 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 Namo Namaha Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaya Vicha Om Glom Hum Klim Jum Saha Jwalaya Jwalaya Jwala Jwala Prajvala Prajvala Aim Rim Klim Chamundaya Vicha Jwala Ham Sam Lam Ksham Phat Swaha Om Durge Durge Rakshani Tha Tha Swaha Om Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama Om Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu Om Hrim Swaha.